everybody, this is Sherry at djsundry.blogspot.com, and I have a fun altered project to show you tonight. Now, this altered project is not my original idea. I saw it on Love to Crop, Amy Voltz's blog, and I decided to kind of scrap lift it, and I'll be providing a link down to that original post. But this is my spin on her project, so let's get going. So the first thing that I needed was a bottle of some sort. Now I just went and got a Frappuccino bottle from, or I think they're called Frappuccino, yeah, Frappuccino bottle from the store. And after drinking the Frappuccino bottle, I just rinsed it out and kept it clear. Now I don't need the lid, but I think I'm going to save it because I don't know, there might be something I can do with that on another project later on. I'm also using my Fiskars scallop punch, and I've already done a lot of the prep work to get it out of the way. So I'm just showing you the items that I used on that prep work. I also have this beautiful star paper from hot off the press. It's called Navy Stars, and it's just a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and I use that in a few different applications for this project. I'm using my Tim Holtz Alterations paper rosette die, and to make a paper rosette for my project. And then I'm also using my Cuttlebug Stars embossing folder. Now my other papers that I used are this red paper, and this is the one that I used my stars folder on. Now obviously that's longer than the stars folder, so what I did is I put it in the folder just as far as it will go, and then I turned it around and did it the other way and ran it through the folder. And I know the stars are kind of difficult to pick up on this picture, but they're all embossed and they're very pretty. Now this is a 3-inch wide piece of paper by 9 inches long, and it's from Coordinations, and it's just open stock paper from my Joann's. And then I have this piece of white paper. Now this white paper is just plain white cardstock. Not even cardstock, it's plain white printing paper that I opened up my printer and pulled it out. I wanted something relatively thin because it's going to be wrapped around the bottle, and I wanted the pliability of not having too much thickness and too many layers. So then I took that piece of paper, and I didn't measure this out very closely because I actually had a scrap piece for this part, and it was about 9 inches wide, which is the same as what my others were. It's actually a little bit wider than that, so I'll just trim it off when I'm done. But this is also 9 inches wide, and this was 4¼ inches wide by 9 inches long, and then I ran my scallop, and then these were 9 inches long, and I ran my scallop above it, and it was just a 1 inch wide. Now much of this paper will be covered up, well, much of both of these papers will be covered up, and then we'll be using some stickles later. So one of the things that I've already prepped is I've made my paper rosette, and again I used the same star paper, and then I took a piece of I believe it's called Lemon Drop Twine. Let me double check the name. Lemon Drop Twine from the Twinery, and I made kind of a double bow. It's got 2 pieces of bows. Now I may want to trim that off later, but for now I'm going to leave it long, and then I'll trim it when we get it adhered. And I've already made the rosette, and it's dry and ready to go. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to set this aside, and I want to adhere my stars onto the paper. Now I have made a couple of these already. This one's actually for a gift for a friend. I've made a couple already, and I tried it 2 different ways. I tried it by just doing these first couple steps here and adhering this blue paper to the white and then putting it on the bottle, and then I went back and added the red to the bottle, and it worked okay, but what I discovered is it's sometimes a little bit difficult to adhere to the bottle and keep it straight. And so what I decided was better is to do all of the layers at once and then treat it as one layer. And then if it's not going to be straight and meet up, at least it's only 1 time instead of 3. And it's just a little bit easier than trying to do it all at once. So you see I've got this big piece in the middle, and I just barely, hardly any of the white will show, just barely enough to provide an edging on my scallops. And so then let's add the red piece here. which may be getting off camera. It's been so long since I've done a craft video, and my camera's been moved around so much, I'm not even sure. It's going to take a little bit of work to get back into the swing of it. So then I'm going to adhere this right over the middle of my paper. So the theme is definitely stars here, as you can see. Now, with 4th of July being next week, one of the things I love to do is to decorate for the different seasons, and often I don't have time to do that. But I did pull out some of my 4th of July things, and I was at Walmart the other day, and they had these really pretty blue and red round placemats. And I don't do a lot of placemats, and I have them, but I don't use them often. And I don't do a lot of tablecloths either, but I almost always have a table runner on my table. And so instead of using a table runner this time, I decided instead to use those placemats to form a table runner. And then once this decoration's done, I will show you at the end of the video how it looks on my table. So now there's one thing, we've got all of our pieces ready here, and I've got my back sticky, and I found that the ATG holds very, very well on these bottles. However, right here where that line is, that's a little bit uneven, I want that to not necessarily be showing all the time. So I want to find a corner where it won't be as noticeable. The other thing about these bottles is they are stamped with the expiration date on them. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover that up with my rosette. So I'm going to remember all of that when I'm setting this up. So let's see, I don't want it to open in the front, obviously. So I am going to just kind of put this on that edge, just like so. And then we're just going to do one bit at a time, trying to keep it as straight as I can, and just wrapping it around the bottle. And it lines up pretty well. Not perfectly, but pretty well. Now, I think what I'm going to do here, because I didn't have adhesive quite on the edge, I have my scotch, and my scotch is just almost gone. But I'm going to just use just a little bit of my Scotch quick dry adhesive right under the edges. Now remember, the Scotch quick dry does dry clear, so if we have a little bit of stuff showing up, it will be okay. But I still don't like to have much showing if I can avoid it. And we'll just hold that for just a second there, just to make sure it's going to stay down, and that just kind of finishes off that edge a little bit more. Okay, so now we're going to move to the front, and we're going to finish it off. Now the next step that I want to do is I've got my silver stickles out here. One of these is more empty than the other, this one. And I wanted, when on my other ones, once I got them all done, I didn't care for the fact that it just needed a little bit of pop in addition to what was already going on there. So I grabbed my silver stickles, and every once in a while, now I don't want to lose the nice embossing look, so I didn't do it all the time. Plus it would just be too much if I put glitter on every single star on there. Besides taking a lot of glitter, it would also I think it would be too busy. But I do want to fill in just some of those stars with the glitter, and I can tell you it's going to take it a while to dry, because those stars are so bulky that it requires a lot of stickles. So I am going to pause the video, and as you can see, this is just applying. I'm kind of outlining the stars that I want to do, and then just filling it in the middle, just like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to put the rest of my stickles that I want, and then I'll come back and show you, and we'll finish up the Okay, everybody, so I'm back, and as you can see, I've gone around, and just in some of this stars, I've put the silver glitter. Sometimes, like down here, just little bits of a star, same up there, sometimes whole stars. And so we are just about done with this project. So the next thing I want to do is I want to adhere my rosette. Now I'm being fairly generous with the glue, And I found on the other ones that I made that it really seems to hold up very, very well, even just to the glass. And I'm just going to put that right over that barcode, or the date and time stamp, or whatever you want to call it, and just hold it on there. Now that it's all done, and I had decided to add the silver stickles, I think if I were to make these again, I would probably use silver ribbon instead of the twine from the twinery, just because I think that would be pretty. Sometimes silver and yellow and gold don't go well together, but I think it looks okay. So now we've got our jar. So what are we going to put in it? I went to Walmart, and I was going to buy flowers because I like having fresh flowers on my table. However, recently, because of my cat, I had my son pick a couple roses from my rose bush, and it got knocked over on more than one occasion by the cat. And then I noticed how expensive flowers are right now, and so I decided instead I would just get some artificial flowers, and that would bring in my white. Now these are more of an off-white, these daisies, but I just went back into the craft section and I picked up a couple stems, and the stems only had like 4 daisies on it, and so then I just decided that would be perfect though for the size, and I wanted 3, so I trimmed it down so I could have 3 in there. And there we have our little flower vase. Be fun for a picnic, something casual. It's not elegant, it's just something very simple, something very pretty, and something that can add to your decorations for the 4th of July and for the whole month of July. So thanks for stopping by today, and special thanks to Amy at Love to Crop for posting the original jar that you made. That's where I got the idea for this, and I really appreciate it. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.